What, 27? Where's the other? Let's say it here. Okay. In what way is it permitted to grind slash crush mash foods, vegetables, fruits that you're not allowed to crush, mash, slices on Shabbos? And what are you allowed to do? There's a way you're allowed to crush whatever into tiny pieces. There's a way you're allowed to do it on Shabbos. And that is, the way is, yeah? Anyone who knows it could say it?
Back of the spoon.
Back of the spoon, back of the fork, yeah. Use the back of the spoon, you could crush, you could mash bananas, whatever you want, if you use the back of the spoon. Otherwise, it's considered grinding. 28, is it permitted to crush challah, cookies, cake, cereal? So in what way are you allowed to crush, to break apart the challah into tiny pieces? Also with the back of a spoon, right? Cookies, if you want to crush cookies, you want to break them to pieces, or cake, you do use the back of a spoon, right?
You can't do it by hand?
Right?
Can you also do it by hand?
Can you do it by
Yeah.
hand?
I think so.
Yes. I was trying to confuse everyone. It's then you can remember it. Otherwise, it's just right. So because it was already, what's the reason why you're allowed to?
It was already ground.
It was already ground. It was already ground, so that's why it's not considered grinding. It was already ground. The cake, the cookie, the challah was already ground. Even though you say the challah was never ground. No, what's the challah? Challah is from wheat that was ground. You made a dough, so that was already ground. So it's not the way Hashem created. Challah didn't grow on a tree. Challah, this was already ground. So there's no issue with grinding it. So there's no problem. 29, how is it permitted to mix baby cereal with liquid? You have baby cereal with liquid, and how you want to make it for the baby? How are you allowed to do it? So there's a few conditions. Who wants to give one of the conditions? Who wants to give the first condition? The first condition is to be allowed to do it is
Right before eating?
no.
Okay.
Actually, I have an interesting point, but no, that's not necessary. Right before eating is not necessary for this.
Mhm. Oh, is it with a shoe?
Okay, what's the first? What's the first condition? What's the first condition? First condition is what? Has to be, what kind of consistency does it have to result in? Has to result in a loose batter. It can't be a thick batter like a challah, like a dough, like matzo ball. Knedlach, it's like matzo balls. It has a certain thickness to it. Has to be loose that you could pour it. Okay, that's the first condition. If you're going to make the baby cereal thick, forget it. There's nothing to discuss. You can't do it in Shabbos. And the other two conditions are what? What are the two conditions?
You have to like mix.
Right. You have to reverse the order how you put in the ingredients. And you have to mix it in a different way. Don't mix it the regular way. Don't use a spoon. Use the back of the spoon. Use your hand if you want. If no one is looking, use your hand and mix it. So you have to do it in a different way. The next question is, in what way, you have the question 30, look at it. Those who have the sheets. In what way is it permitted to prepare egg salad or potato salad? You want to make egg salad, potato salad? Potato salad is really not a great example, but anyways, potato salad is usually big pieces. I don't know why I put in potato, but the answer is the same. Think about the egg salad. How do you make egg salad on Shabbos? When I say egg salad, you mean because you're mixing it with mayonnaise. That's what I mean. You're mashing the eggs and you're mixing it with mayonnaise. So how do you do it? Who's able to, wants to be brave and describe to me how you make egg salad on Shabbos? How? Anyone? Right, so first step is you have eggs, so you have to grind, you have to crush it. So first, when you crush the eggs, you smash the eggs and you machine it, right? Right?
To cut them?
To mash the eggs, you machine it, right?
No.
No, don't be afraid.
No,
You're
I didn't think so.
No, no, it's correct. You don't need a sheeter to mash eggs. Eggs you can mash the regular way. You don't need a sheeter. Why?
Is there eggs, like it's not from the ground?
Why? Because eggs don't come from the ground. Primarily, grinding is by things that come from the ground. Unless you're accomplishing something by grinding it, like we discussed, you want to give hard meat to the dogs so they can't chew it, so you have to cut it into thin pieces and making it fit to be eaten. But otherwise, things that don't come from the ground, there is no grinding. There's no problem mashing eggs, taking the chicken and cutting it up into tiny, tiny pieces, taking the meat that's edible and can be eaten the way it is and just make it very, very thin because it doesn't come from the ground. Okay, so what's the problem? That's it. You mash the eggs any way you want, and then you mix it with mayonnaise. What's the problem?
You need to cut it into big pieces.
You need to cut it. The problem is kneading. You're kneading, right? You're connecting the tiny piece of the eggs with the mayonnaise. It's kneading. You can't do it in Shabbos. There's no way you can do it because it comes out thick, actually. It's not loose, it's thick, has a density to it. So the eggs have to be big pieces. You have big pieces of eggs. The tissues in there? No? Well, yeah. Right, so you have to make it into larger pieces. And the same thing if you're making a tuna salad with eggs, with mayonnaise. People do it a lot of times for Shabbos. You mashing the tuna is not a problem. It doesn't grow from the ground. But to mix with mayonnaise, that you can't do. So you can't really do it on Shabbos unless you keep the large piece of tuna and then you mix with mayonnaise, and then it's not really what you want. But you have no choice, but you can't do it. Okay, so we pretty much finished the review on Biden. Now, I did bring up I made another, debating if I should give it out. I have another review sheet on Bayer, but some of the questions are similar to what we discussed. A lot of them was made another sheet. It's really up to you if you want to, I'm going to give it out, and then if you all decide you want to do it together, otherwise, we started doing the last class, the lachas of grinding, and we started doing medicine on Shabbos. Very interesting topic. Interesting. Not interesting. It's not relevant, but it's interesting how the lachas of medicine work on Shabbos. But if you look through these, and if you feel that, we already had it on the other sheets, maybe we just go through it quickly. I guess those who weren't here will also gain from this. So I think that's what we should do, yeah? First question, what condition must be met to separate fish from bones? So if you have a piece of fish with bones, and you want to separate the fish from the bones, what condition do you need to be allowed to do it on Shabbos? Before the time of eating. Close to the time of eating, right? Does anyone know how the filter fish came into existence? I mean, where did the idea of gefilte fish come from? That came into, how it came into existence. Where did it come from? Like, where's the idea of gefilte fish? It's because of the malach of Bayer, because these are sort of fish with bones. Yeah, the whole thing. Eat this, take the good for the bad. You can't take out the bones. It's a whole big thing, and then the bones become muktzah. So they invented, the Jewish people invented gefilte fish, and you have no problem with Bayer. That's where it comes from. Yes.
You cover the meat on it.
Huh?
We put the meat on the bone.
Right. If you leave some meat on the bone, then it's not considered separated because it's yeah, you can even you don't have to leave any meat. You can take off the whole meat. If you're taking what you want and what you don't want, it's not separating. But it's only when at the time of eating, and it's not so convenient. It's just, you have to be careful, and it's also makes it harder to eat that way also. Just practical. The filter food, that's it. You don't have to. Two. Oh, now it gets more interesting. How do you remove a fly from the soup?
You blow it to the.
You blow it to the edge. You blow it. You could just blow it over the edge, right?
No.
No, you can't blow it over the edge. You blow it till the edge and then you pour it out. Can you scoop it out with some soup?
No.
Anyone? You're not allowed. That's called desecrating Shabbos. Then you're on top of things. Good. Right. It's not really considered desecrating Shabbos, but Al Rebbe is strict. Al Rebbe says, let's not rely on this opinion. There is an opinion that says it's okay to take it with some soup. Al Rebbe says, don't rely on it. This is very concerning. It can be considered desecrating Shabbos. You want to stay away from it. It's not like for sure prohibited, but Al Rebbe highly recommends don't rely on this leniency of taking some soup with it. Just do it and pour it out. 3, the peel and orange. What conditions to peel? I want to peel an orange. What do I have to know to peel an orange in Shabbos? What do I need to know? Could I use a knife? Yeah. Right. So what conditions do I have to be aware of? What do I have to be aware of? I want to eat an orange. It's before the time of eating, not for preparing before davening, before you go to shul, peeling oranges, because you're going to make some type of orange, some dessert with oranges before you're going to shul. Nope. Doesn't matter if your hand or with a knife is the same thing, but you can't do it before you go to shul. It's before the meal. 4, is one allowed? There's a typo there, to sort. Sort, S-O-R-T, to sort a mixture of candies and chocolates for later in the day. No. I think that's simple. 5, is one permitted to set a table with cutlery that is mixed together before the Shul on Shabbos? No, you can't do it before you go to shul. 6, is it halachically permitted to crack nuts on Shabbos? If you provided that you do it before the time of the meal, before you're about to eat, close to the. What does Al Rebbe say about this?
That it's better not to.
Is everyone following this? Yeah. For those who weren't here, we're going faster because this is sort of like a review on the review. So you're not getting something you can ask. Yeah. 7.
What about an apple?
3B. What about an apple? To peel an apple, what conditions do you need to have to peel an apple?
I guess being an apple, you need to take some of the actual but then you take the peel, but also you need to take
Okay, not exactly. You're allowed to peel an apple because most people, usually people eat the peels. Because people eat the peels, so the peels considered food. It's not considered waste, so you're not separating waste, you're separating food from food. It's all part of the same food.
So you wouldn't have to do it before the time.
Right, you can do it whenever. Yeah. Same with the cucumber. Well, we spoke about the cucumber. You have the top and the bottom of the cucumber. That's a little bitter. People don't eat that, so there's a catch over there. Okay. 7. If one has a bowl of soup with rice, and he only desires the rice, he wants the rice, is he permitted to pour out the soup, leaving the rice behind? He wants the rice, doesn't want the soup. So he's going to pour out the soup, leaving the rice behind in the bowl, in the pot, or whatever, because he wants the rice. So he's allowed to pour it out, and then he's going to be left with the rice in his hand.
That's what you said, like you're taking it?
He's not taking it, because that's in his hand.
Oh.
Yeah, there's rice in here. I don't want the soup, I just want the rice. I'm pouring out all the soup, and I'm just left holding the rice inside the bowl. Am I allowed to do that? We said whatever stays in your hand is what you're taking.
So you are.
Yeah, if you're going to be eating it now, you could. Yeah.
So if you're spitting, if you're spitting out, you form like the potatoes, and the liquid coming that you can go like this, and that's what you do.
Against the side of the bowl?
Yeah.
I always had this question. There is a teacher, always a question, always try to find it. I think lately, I have to check again. I think it comes out that you could. I have to double check. I think you're allowed to. It's not called using the king, it's called. So you can do it theoretically with your hand also, so it's not, the can is not really helping you separate. I have to check. I think you're allowed to do that, if it's close to the time of eating. Okay, so whatever is left in the bowl is what you're taking. So if you're pouring out the soup, you're left with the rice in the bowl, that's what you're taking, and therefore you're allowed. What if he only desires the soup? So he's left with the rice. He's pouring out the soup, and he's left holding the rice inside the bowl. He's left with what he doesn't want. That he's not allowed. Get it?
Yeah.
8. If someone has matzo balls in the soup, only desire the soup, yeah, it's ready, yeah. Allowed to take out the soup, leaving them behind the matzo balls. Matzo balls and soup is not considered a mixture. There's no problem separating matzo balls from soup because it's not considered mixed together because the matzo balls are large. It's not a mixture. Yeah. Because they're large, big matzo balls inside the soup and liquid, we don't look at it as a mixture because liquid, solid, and the solid is big. When you have small pieces in the liquid, it's perceived as a mixture. It's perceived mixed. Just like a fly is considered mixed. You know, it's not mixed, but you have to get it out. It's not so easy. That's viewed as mixed together. That's how it is. 9. If someone is served a bowl of soup with rice, is permitted to remove the rice in order to eat it with the chicken later in the meal.
No.
Getting the question? Reading it too fast. You're taking out the rice. You don't eat it now. You eat it later in the meal. So you're separating the rice from the soup during the meal because you don't eat it right now. You want to eat it later because later the child is coming, the kugel, and you want to eat the rice together with the kugel, whatever. Okay, so take out the rice from the soup. You don't eat it now. You don't want it now. Why am I taking it out? I'm separating it. You don't want to eat it now? No, I don't want to eat it now. I want to eat it later. I'm going to eat it later. So then, it's okay. Very good. So you're getting it. Good. Exactly. 10. If someone has a bowl of cashews that contains some broken pieces, is he permitted? No, broken pieces of cashews. Talking about, okay, broken pieces of cashews, not broken pieces of something else. Is he permitted to take out the broken pieces to throw them away? Right. So he has a bowl of cashews, whole cashews, and broken cashews. And you want to take out the broken pieces because it doesn't look nice, a nice event, you know, a nice party, want it to look nice. So you want to take out the broken pieces of the cashews to just have the whole cashews. And the broken pieces you're going to throw away. Now, you're not allowed to throw it away because it can't now waste food. But that's not the discussion. Let's say the person is throwing it away, or whatever, whichever way, it doesn't matter. In terms of what I'm asking, the malacha b'ayit, it doesn't matter. So let's say the person is throwing it away in the garbage. Let's say. Doesn't mean you're allowed, but I'm trying to focus on the question here. So you only want the whole cashews. The broken cashews are edible, you can eat it. He doesn't want it. The rich guy, he doesn't need it, throw it out, let's say. Is this considered separating?
No.
No, it's not considered separating because it's edible, you can eat it. It's the same food. It's not separated. Again, you're not allowed to throw out food, you're not allowed to waste food. That's prohibited. You're not telling you to waste food is prohibited. 11. Is one permitted to pour from a pitcher that contains tea leaves? In a pitcher with tea and tea leaves, and you're pouring, and it's separating the tea leaves from the tea. But you don't have it these days so much.
If the tea leaves stay at the bottom, so the liquid is at the bottom.
Right. It's only the liquid when it starts to mix, it's considered separated. So if it mixes with tea leaves, and you are pouring and you're trying to make sure that the tea leaves don't come out, the tea leaves stay inside, then you can't do it. That's considered separating the tea leaves from the tea. Yeah.
But if you don't care if the tea leaves come out.
Yeah, you don't care, man. Yeah, whatever comes exact. Right. This question has to be edited. In other words, the question is assuming that you don't want the tea leaves. If you don't care if the tea leaves come out, and whatever comes out doesn't matter, then don't like you're trying to separate the tea from the tea leaves. 12. Is one permitted to sort different size spoons? Soup spoons, teaspoons. You want to separate the big spoons from the small spoons. Is that considered separating? Are you allowed to do it?
No.
You're only allowed to do it close to the time of eating, right? Are you allowed to rinse fruit that became dirty? It's dirty. The fruit has dirt. You want to rinse it to separate the dirt from the fruit. Are you allowed to do that? Close to the time of eating. But the fruit is dirty, and you want to rinse it by the sink just to get off the dirt, then it's called separating. And you're allowed to do it if you go to be eating now, you can do it. But if you want to rinse it off and put it back to the refrigerator, then you can't. Okay, so now we're going back to the law of Cheshvan, grinding, the decree of the Chacham that you can't use medication on Shabbos. And we started to discuss it in the last class, and we're going to go over again some basic halachas regarding medication. So, when is one allowed to use medication on Shabbos? Of course, if it's life-threatening, of course you can use medication, there's no question about it. But what about if it's not life-threatening? Then you are allowed to use it if the person is in the status of what's called a chayla she'ein me'sakana. This is a classical term in halacha, the term you want to learn, called chayla she'ein me'sakana. Chayla she'ein me'sakana, we are lenient, come allow us to use medication. If necessary, you can ask a goy to do something that's even prohibited by the Torah. You're allowed to ask a goy to do something that's prohibited biblically, if necessary, for a chayla she'ein me'sakana, if necessary. And if necessary, we said he's even allowed to eat bishul akum. The guy could cook food and eat bishul akum. Not so practical these days. What are examples? We members, what are examples of chayla she'ein me'sakana? What are examples of chayla she'ein me'sakana? What kind of headache? Like a migraine, like not just a regular headache, a migraine, a headache that you can't function, you're in bed. or you feel you want to be in bed. So, someone has the flu and is in bed. He's the status of Hashem Sakana. So if necessary, if it's necessary for his well-being, you can have a guy do malacha for him. By the way, another interesting example of Chilashim Sakana applies even for people who are not sick. And then it says when it comes to cold, now it's starting to get cold, right? So let's say it's cold. Here it's not cold. Let's say it's cold here. The heat is not on. You got cold. Are you sick? No, you're not sick. But if there's no heat on, you could get sick. It's cold, and it's very cold. You're allowed to tell a guy to do something that's prohibited biblically. You're allowed to tell a guy to do something that's prohibited by the Torah. You can tell a guy to put on the heat. Back in those days, to put on the fire. Because, being that it's cold, you could get sick. It says everyone is considered sick when it comes to cold. Meaning, because if it's very cold, you can get sick. We don't need to wait till a person is going to get sick. A person is a situation that if you don't take care of it, chances are you'll get sick. Then it's also the status of Chil Hashem Sakana. Okay, it can't be taken lightly. You have to make sure that it's not just any little thing. Oh, if I don't do this, it has to be something has to fit into a certain category. But this is the classical example. It's very cold. It's cold, it's freezing. You can get sick. So you already have that status of Chil Hashem Sakana. So there's no issue. Generally, we tell you, you can't tell a non-Jew to do work for you on Shabbos. Some people think you can tell a non-Jew to do anything, do this, do that. You can't. But there are things you're allowed to. This is one example that you're allowed to tell a guy directly on Shabbos that if it's cold, you're not talking about it's a little cold. It has to be that it's cold. It's just cold. It's cold, so you're just very uncomfortable. If you have older people that feel very cold, also the same thing. You tell them directly to put on the heat. No problem. Now, in terms of categories, there is what's below go to categorize it. There's something called Miksas Choyli. Okay, so actually it starts with, I don't know if this is actually so relevant. So yeah, okay, we'll go in order. We'll go in order. Okay? We go in order. We'll start. The lowest one is Mechush. Mechush means something is bothering me. Mechush be'alma. Mechush, something is bothering you. Then what comes afterwards is Miktas Choyli. Then comes these are all the categories.
Wow.
Not technically even, just in the basic outline. Mechush means something is bothering you. Any ache, people have aches and pains. Just you can't take medicine, you can't do anything. These are called Miktsas Choyli, a partial sickness. Miktsas Choyli means that you have a cold, you're not feeling well, but you're functioning. That's called Miktsas Choyli, a partial sickness. Whereas Mechush means you're not on a cold, but you have a little ache, something a little annoying you, like this feeling means you're sick. Yeah, but you're not feeling well. But you're not in bed. You're not laying in bed. You're functioning. Then comes Tsar Godel, in a lot of pain. We see a lot of pain. We don't mean pain to the extent of that the word say danger. There's certain types of pain that's gotta have to call itself. We're not talking about that type of pain. Talking about that you know what it is. There's no danger involved. You know exactly it's coming from a certain thing. It's no danger involved, but it's when you're a lot of pain. Now within pain, you don't mean pain that's like fun. You have sometimes pain that's like crazy. You don't mean unbearable, but extreme discomfort. It's sorry, God, a lot of pain. It means extreme discomfort. It doesn't mean unbearable pain. That's like, ridiculous, and that means that's something more serious. So notice each term you have to explain what it means. If you take it literally, it's like that's like a sick person is not in danger. And the definition doesn't mean any person who's sick is not in danger. Usually, yeah? No. Sakana refers to someone who's in bed, someone who's not functioning. Their body is extremely weak. They want to be in bed. That's Sakana. Means he's sick. There's mix-up, there's a partial sickness, he has a cold, but means he's sick, he's in bed. But he's not in danger. There's no danger involved. It's not life-threatening, but he's sick. He's in bed. Whether it's a bad flu or bad cold or a migraine or whatever, then the sakana statement is a danger of a limb. Has the danger of losing the limb or a limb becoming injured to the extent that it will stay weak for the rest of his life. That's sakana saver. And then comes sakana, a sick person who is in danger. That's the person is in danger. You do anything you need to do. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more. I'm going to focus a little bit more about things that you're allowed to do on Shabbos that is not considered medicine. That's what I'm going to focus now on. And obviously, this is going to take next few classes to go through all those categories. Are you allowed to put oil on chapped skin? You have skin, sometimes it comes wintertime and the skin gets cracked and chapped, and you want to put oil or ointment. Now, of course, you have to be careful not to smooth it out. That's any ointment you can't smooth. So we're not discussing the malacha of smoothing. You have to be careful. But without the malacha, just putting it on, is that called medicinal? Or it's called, I don't want my hands to get chapped. Well, I said before, your hands are chapped, right? So that's really what it comes out to. If your hands are chapped and you're putting it, why are you putting it? It's chapped. What's to heal the skin? That's called medicine. Do it on Shabbos. If you're doing it to prevent it from becoming chapped, then it's okay. Because it's not medicinal. It's not chapped yet. Also, you're allowed to take Tylenol or something. I mean, we use like, let's say, Tums. And yeah, Tums, get upsets, right? The stomach. People have indigestion, take sometimes Tums, right? So you can't take it on Shabbos. But if you're taking it to prevent indigestion, because you're eating a food that's going to affect you, so you take the Tums before that, then it's okay. Because you're not yet, because there's no medical issue here. The stomach is not bothering you. You get it? So the provision is to do something that's medicinal. But if there is no medical issue yet, you don't have a headache. Why are you taking the Tylenol? Because I know I'm going to get a headache soon. I take it out. I'll prevent from a headache. Then it's not medicinal, and you can take it. We can take the Tums to prevent indigestion. You could put lotion, cream on your hands So your hands don't become chapped. Be careful of the malacha, not smooth. But it's not yet chapped, so it's okay because it's not medicinal. You're not healing. You're not taking it to heal anything. You're taking it to prevent, and therefore there's no issue.
So you can put hand cream on, like before going outside.
If your hands are not chapped, you're putting it to prevent, then it's okay.
But what if they are chapped, but you don't want them to get more chapped?
You don't want them to get more chapped, and you also want to heal the part that's chapped also, and it's going to do that. So then it's medicinal. You have an issue. I'm not drawing blood on Shabbos. If you start bleeding, you didn't do anything. If you're not causing it, you're not drawing the blood, it's happening by itself. Okay. If you put the cream, it wouldn't bleed. Now it's going to bleed because you didn't put cream, but you didn't cause it to bleed. So that's not the transgressing Shabbos. Right? Right, so oil, so that there's two things over it. There's the malacha and then there's the medicinal part. Right, so in terms of the malacha, oil is not usually an issue because in oil you're not smoothing anything out. It's more the creams that have density to it. That's usually an issue.
You can use oil. Even if it's chapped.
Oil, we're discussing the malacha of smoothing. In terms of malacha of smoothing, oil is not a problem, but oil is still an issue in terms of healing. If it's chapped, it's healing.
What we should do?
What should you do? I would suggest that you put cream on, lotion on every single day. Yeah, you put on every day. So put it on before it gets chapped. So now you have no problem. Now you can put on Shabbos, but it's not chapped. Yeah, really?
It's true.
Yeah, just put it on all the time. Get into the habit of doing it. Make it routine. Then you avoid issues. Yeah.
I have a question.
What about one other thing? Insect repellent. You want to spray that the insects, you want to spray on yourself so insects do not bite you. Is that called medicinal? You're spraying it so the insect shouldn't bite you. It's preventive. Yeah, but you have to make sure it's not scented. It's scented, it's usually not scented, there's no issue.
Like strong smell. Are there
But the chemical. Scented is only an issue if you have an interest in the scent. That in other words, they put the scent there for a purpose that it should have that scent, it should have that smell. But it has a smell of a chemical that's just there by default, and you're smelling the chemical, that's not an issue. Another thing, are you allowed to use ice cubes on Shabbos? Let's say someone has hurt themselves, and in order to prevent themselves from getting swollen up, because they were banged up, to use ice cubes. So it's brought down that you could use ice cubes. There's no issue.
Not wearing.
You put it into a bag. It's not considered medicinal. So it's prevented, it shouldn't swell up. So it's not medicinal. That's when it's brought down. And even allowed to break it, to crush it a little bit. As long as the intention is not to create water, it's just to break it a little bit. You're allowed to break the ice a little bit to make it more usable. That's also okay, because it's not your intention. The purpose is not to create water. So even if a little water oozes out, it's not a problem. Yeah.
It's not water bottles. Like let's say, I don't know, someone's back is hurting and they want to use one of the hot water bottles with that.
That's water bottles, and we'll discuss that in the next class. Let's discuss about hot water. Okay? Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.